was he like?
Oh, let's look at some more. Mother had a first marriage, an arranged marriage, and she hated her first husband. But from that marriage, there were two daughters, my mother and her sister Bella. And my grandmother managed somehow or other to secure a divorce from her first husband, which would have been nothing short of a miracle, since divorce was not permitted in, Orthodox Jewish society. She remarried a widower with 3 children. My father, your grandfather, and an older sister who never made it to the United States. And that was Joseph Perlmutter. And from that marriage, there were another 2 children born, one of whom was Morris, and the other one was Ray. Now, what the age difference was between my mother and Ray, I don't really know, but I think that Ray became like my mother's little sister, or that the responsibility of taking care of Ray as an infant and as a child, that my mother played a big role there. Hence, there was a very, very close emotional relationship between the two of them. I don't know whether I don't believe there was as strong an emotional relationship between Morris and my mother. He certainly never manifested, from anything I could see in his external behavior, the same quality of affection towards my mother as Ray always used to show. But that's the complex source.
Do you know, so Joseph's name was always Perlmutter?
Yeah.
Way back
men's names don't change.
I thought they didn't have last names then.
Of course they did. Ever since the time of Napoleon, people had started to have last names. It was a Napoleonic edict, which is why a lot of family names originate from the names of towns and cities, because these were places where people lived, so they took the place names of where they lived as their family names.
So Perlmutter means mother of pearl, but they were not jewelers. They were very poor. Right?
Well, it's a German name.
Or Yiddish, yeah.
No, it's German.
German.
Absolutely German.
Wow.
Because when I was in Berlin and I happened to pass a curio shop, there on a table set out with all kinds of knickknacks and other tchotchkes, there was a little box with demi-tasse spoons.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a sign that said Perlmutter Löffelin.
Mm.
So Löffel is spoon, Perlmutter is mother of pearl,
Yeah.
and that's the name.
But
Perlmutter.
since so many people took the names of their professions, like Schneider is tailor, I think we were
don't
not.
know.
No idea.
No idea of where the name Perlmutter came from, but it definitely is German.
Do you know anything about before Joseph and Heike, who their parents were,
No.
where they came from?
Laura Saul Brocksterman was going to do research on what's that?
Genealogy?
Hmm?
Genealogy?
Well, it's not called genealogy.
Ancestry.com.
Yeah, Ancestry.com. But I don't know how far she ever got. She may have just researched Foreman, but I don't know if she got into Perlmutter.
Carl once told me, I said, do you know where they came from before Komunitz Podolsky?
Poland.
He said everybody came from France and they just kept moving east. Maybe then to Poland, maybe then to Russia, but...
The family name was Ganilsi. Is Ganilsi.
Wait a second, so the Ganilsi in relationship to Perlmutter is what?
No, no relation at all.
Although, of course, Carl is not our family. I mean, he married him. Carl's family was Ganilsi.
I think it's from Poland or else from someplace in Russia. But at any rate, Carl's father, who was something of a rabbinic teacher, but not really an ordained rabbi, but something of a religious scholar. They emigrated to Palestine, and they went on foot or by whatever means they could devise, en route. What year, I don't know. You might say late 19th century sometime. But Carl grew up, and his brothers. He had at least 2, maybe 3 brothers and an older sister. But they grew up in what is today Israel at the time that it was a British mandate.
I was wondering why Jews moved to Palestine.
What?
I was wondering why Jews moved to Palestine before Israel. It wasn't a Jewish state then, and it wasn't a
There
refuge.
were
was
many,
it?
many, many Jews that emigrated to Palestine that left Europe because of
Pogroms? Pogroms? Poverty?
Lots of reasons. And the Zionist movement was a big impetus. The Zionist movement, which was founded by
Theodor Herzl.
that's right, Herzl.
Yeah.
Right. And
You could say they were early Zionists then.
oh, they were ardent early Zionists. It was a very powerful movement. Yeah, they were very, Jews who were not Orthodox and had stopped practicing, probably following the Napoleonic era and the development of Zionism, the whole idea that Israel should be reborn. That was not...
Way before 48, yeah.
No, that was way before 48. And do you know who really was very instrumental in affecting it? Weitzman, the first.
Chaim
Weitzman. Well, he was a chemist by profession. And during World War II, he developed something that was very, very valuable to the British war effort. And he negotiated it with the British. He said, you can have the results of my research and of my development and of my scientific achievement on condition that you support a Jewish state, which put the British in a bind because at the same time they had good relations with the Arabs, but they didn't want to make waves with the Arabs. But Theodor Chaim Weizmann really was a powerful force in affecting, a British turnaround.
Back to Ganilski. What was Ray and Carl's last name?
Ray was a Perlmutter.
She kept her name.
Well, she was born a Perlmutter.
Well, when she married Carl, you didn't take the name. I never knew her as Ganilski. I'm curious now.
No, she was never Ganilsi.
So Carl was Ganilsi.
Carl was Ganilsi.
I never knew that.
But how did Carl become Leventhal? I will tell you.
Yeah.
Carl entered the United States as an illegal alien. I told you that when he jumped ship in Chester, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
He was an illegal alien, as there are many today, over which there's a great big controversy. And the United States declared that it would offer amnesty to all illegal aliens if they crossed an American border and then came back in over that same border. So that was around 1927 or 1928, and Carl, before he crossed the border, took his mother's maiden name, Leventhal, which was really a name of German origin.
I was just thinking about where that comes from. I wonder what Levin means something.
I don't know, but the THAL is very definitely a German. An ending to
That's right.
German name or a German word. There is what is a tree? That's there's a name of a tree that ends in THAL. At any rate, he took his mother's maiden name, and that's where Leventhal comes from. But Carl was originally Ganilsi.
Not Ganilski, but Ganilsi. S-I.
Ganilsy.
Oh, S-Y. See. We learned that ski.
And when Nora was active in left-wing movements, she took the name of Gan, G-A-N, a shortening of Ganilsi. And Carl's brother, one of his brothers, settled in Paris. I don't remember his first name, but it's the family name there is Ganilsi. And they had a son.
Mark?
Maybe it's Sam Ganilsi, I don't know. Sam and his wife Rosa, who was a dyed-in-the-wool communist, very colorful woman, had a son named Simon, and he in turn had a son named Mark. And as I told you, Mark and Michael Leventhal became very good friends when Michael Leventhal was living in Paris and working there under contract to a French computer programming company.
Are they of the same generation, same age, approximately?
Who, Michael?
And Mark.
Yeah.
I met someone in Paris, in Israel. So it wouldn't have been Mark. Maybe it was Paris. I met someone from Carl's family. He asked me to look up. I'm trying to remember. It was 30 years ago. In Israel.
Yeah, I know who you mean. The wife's name was Hannah.
Yes.
And It's a nephew of Carl's who happened to be in Israel at the time that the Nazis invaded Poland, so he could never go back. And he lost his entire family.
Wow.
Hammerstick or something
Yes,
like
sounds
that.
familiar. Yeah.
I met him too. Yeah, and he had two children, a boy and a girl, or a man and a young woman, who are ardent Zionists. Right, and yeah, I can't remember. The first part of the last name begins with Hammer,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't remember the second part. And I do remember his wife's name, Hannah. And they met in the Israeli army when they were fighting the British.
Wow.
No, I'm sure that if you scratch a lot of Israeli families before the First World War, you'll find, strong military connections with the first military, Israeli military that organized against the British and against the Arabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nothing that, a lot of Israeli movements, they did not begin after the Second World War, like the Zionist movement. That was already over about 100 years old.
Yeah.
So, yes, there would have been an endless movement of Jews, non-religious Jews, maybe some religious, like Carl's father.
Well, I was surprised because most religious or ultra-religious today in Israel are not Zionists. And
Oh
won't
no,
even
they do.
speak
They
Hebrew, they speak Yiddish.
Oh no, they are definite. What they want is a theocracy. Oh no, they're very dangerous.
Yes.
They're very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Right, and the fact that they're so powerful is scary.
So I'm really interested that Carl comes from such a family, or at least
Well,
I'm
I
not
don't know. I
surprised
don't
at
know.
his
I don't know.
scholarship,
I don't know how religious they were. Carl certainly never was. He was never practicing. They didn't celebrate the holidays like Pesach, or observe Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah.
I used to go there sometimes for Shabbat they would celebrate, and I have heard their candlesticks.
Well, that I didn't know that they
left
even
me those.
observed Shabbat. I thought that they were pretty secular.
I think so.
Yeah.
These wonderful old carved candlesticks with Hebrew. So
Well, they may not have been solid brass. They may have been something else. It depends on how heavy they are.
They're heavy.
They're heavy?
Yeah.
In which case, maybe they are solid brass.
Yeah. That's all I have of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they left me.
That's nice.
Very nice. Yeah. For special occasions, I use them.
Anyway,
Should we go back to the pictures?
go back to the pictures.